So does your voice have something to do with your element personality type? In this video, I'm going to talk about how you speak and how that can tell you a lot about your elemental balance. Sit tight. Welcome back to another video. My name is Jen Palco. Today we're going to talk about sounds and the 5 elements. And I'm going to concentrate primarily on your vocal tone, how you speak to people and how other people speak to you. So I thought this was a really interesting video to do because I want to help you not only understand yourself, but understand the people around you. And it's almost like you could be a little detective or a little bit of a person reader when you're looking into 5 elements stuff, because you can really pick up on the clues and the hints about what somebody's about or what might be off for them as far as elements and all kinds of stuff, emotions. So let me just say, if you're not familiar with the 5 elements, I talk about the Chinese 5 elements, which are fire, earth, metal, water, wood. If you're not familiar, you want to get a nice baseline. I've done a lot of other videos on them, so I'm going to put links to those below. But if you just check out my channel, you'll see that there's a lot of videos on, element personality types, all kinds of stuff about the elements in particular and associations with Chinese medicine and organ systems and emotions and all kinds of good stuff there. Today we're going to concentrate on voice, how you speak to people. Do you ever think about your own voice, and do you like your own voice? Do you have a lot of inflection, or do you talk like this, very monotone? So that can tell you really how balanced each of your elements might be. So for example, we'll give you, just to simplify it, any exaggeration or over-inflection of your voice could be an indication of an excess of an element, or if you have a lack of inflection, so you're very monotone, that can indicate a deficiency in one of the elements. And the elements are tied to each of the organ systems of your body. So real quick, fire is tied to heart and small intestine, okay? I'm speaking in TCM, Chinese medicine language here. Earth, stomach and spleen. Metal, lung and large intestine. Water, urinary bladder and your kidneys. And wood, liver, gallbladder. I won't get too far into the organ systems today. We're gonna get more into the emotions, because think about it, when you feel an emotion, you actually feel it in your body, and it affects the chi in your body. So for example, when you get angry, okay, associated with the wood element is anger, you feel the chi rise in your body, right? Or when you feel fear, that has to do with your water element. You may feel the chi kind of go back and descend really deeply, and like the pit of your stomach kind of thing. So emotions play a huge role in this, and it's really fascinating to help understand yourself when it comes to this stuff. So you can record yourself just on tape speaking, because a lot of times we don't even notice maybe how monotone we're speaking or how too overexcited we're speaking. Or just listen to your friends, observe. That's what the whole basis of Chinese medicine was about. It's thousands of years old, was observation of people and people within nature and everything around you, okay? That's why it's brilliant in a certain way. So I'm gonna go through each of these real quick, okay? So fire element has to do with the emotion of joy. So fire element in balance is a nice even keel, person who can have laughter and laugh at appropriate times. But out of balance, you may see somebody, and maybe you know people like this, they laugh at inappropriate things at inappropriate times. They're giggling when things aren't really funny. So that could be an excess, or a lack of fire could be somebody, again, who has that very monotone voice, who doesn't have a lot of passion and excitement in their voice. So excess could be somebody who's laughing at, we're talking about trauma, or they're talking about their own abuse or something, and they're kind of giggling, or this it feels off to you. So, if you get into things like face reading, you pick up on, somebody has a baseline, right? But when things are off with somebody or with yourself, it doesn't match up. Like there's something peculiar not right. So if somebody's laughing at inappropriate times or inappropriate things, then that could be, okay, their fire's a little bit off, or my fire's off. If I'm fine, I'm always like this nervous laughing at everything, okay? Earth, singing. So earth, especially if you're an earth element type, and let me just say, these can relate to which are your constitutional element personality types, or just what's strong for you. We have all the elements within us. So even if you're not, say, a fire or a wood element constitutionally, you still have it within you. So you can still tell what might be out of balance based on how you speak and how you speak to others, how you speak at a certain period in your life, as opposed to maybe when you're a kid you were more excited and had more inflection in your voice. But earth, singing, has to do with worry, okay? So out of balance, you're gonna hear, so earth has a nice like melodic tone to the voice, earth personality types usually, and it can seem very sing-songy, but when it's a little excess of that, or again, that like monotone kind of thing, when it's too sing-songy, like a little too melodic, kind of like unusual somebody, then yeah, something might be off there. Metal, weeping, okay, this is out of balance. Metal is going to be that person. So you want to have a nice balance. We feel all emotions, right? You're going to feel weepy or have a weepy voice if you're sad once in a while. But this is what I'm talking about if it lasts for a long period of time. So this is like that friend that their voice is very shaky, almost like they don't have the lung capacity, because metal has to do with the lungs and large intestine. It's almost like they're always about to cry. They sound like, it's kind of like Sally Struthers. Do you remember those infomercials? If you're old enough like me to remember them, her voice was always like shaky, you know? And you would actually get kind of nervous around that. So this is kind of a weepy, and that has to do with grief, okay? That can indicate that metal is out of balance somewhere. Water has a groaning quality to it, okay? Associated with fear. My dog does this a lot, and I'm like, my dog's water is out of balance, and I don't know why, but it's like this groaning kind of quality, right? I don't know, but that's water out of balance. Just something that's a little peculiar, a little too much, okay? And then wood, okay. Wood is a great example, because wood has to do with the emotion of anger. So wood in balance is gonna have a nice strong voice, okay? Somebody has a strong wood element within them. They're strong, they're determined, they're very confident in themselves. And their voice is going to show that. It's going to be a lot of projection, as opposed to somebody who has like can't get the chi out, right? But if wood is out of balance, you're going to hear shout in the voice at inappropriate times. Again, you're going to hear anger in the voice, even when the person's not angry. They're going to talk really loud and very like that aggressive tone when it doesn't need to be, okay? If somebody's angry, of course, their voice is going to project that out, okay? Because you're angry. But somebody whose wood may be in excess, it's going to be very forceful all the time. And you're going to feel like they're interrogating you all the time, even though they're just speaking. They might say, I'm just talking. What are you talking about? Like, you know, that type of thing. So, I am going to give you a few tips on how to balance elements, just the fun little thing at the end here, but just think about it, okay? Observe around you. Listen for the sound that is incongruent to the actual emotion. So, you might be asking, okay, if my element is out of balance, how do I balance it? Well, since we're talking about voice and sound, I'm going to give you a few sounds that you can use for each element. So this is tying into Qigong techniques and breathing techniques, and usually there's movement associated with all of these, but I'm going to give you a sound for each element that you can do at home, where you can actually feel it in the organ of your body or feel it vibrating throughout your body. So fire, which has to do with heart and small intestine, is going to be ha. Okay, it's going to be like ha. And you can actually feel that in your heart. Now, I'm not the best with doing these because obviously I, need more practice on them. But that's for fire. Your earth is going to be think of an owl, okay? And when I said you can use these sounds when you feel like you're sitting in emotion too much. So earth, if you feel like you're sitting in worry too much, you can actually use this sound. So think of an owl and it's like hoo or hoo. It's basically like an owl hooing, okay? That's for earth. Metal has to do with large intestine also, so it's about letting go. If you feel like you're holding on to grief, and you're out of balance there, it's going to be, think of like either a snake or a tire being, the air being let out of a tire. So it's going to be like, and you actually feel like the emotion letting go out of you and the grief out of you and stuff like that. So that's metal. Water, if you're sitting in states of fear, okay, water is going to be something along the lines of chewy. It's almost like this effect where you feel it going in and down. All right, that one's, I'm not so good at that one, but you get the idea. And then wood, if you're sitting in states of anger for wood, this one's going to be, and you want to feel kind of the tongue, the upper part of the palate of your mouth, okay? It's going to be, you could do it a couple ways. There's shh, like you're in your library, shh, or shh, but I like shh. It's almost like shushing yourself when you're really angry. So these are just 5 sounds that you can use that are tied to each of the elements to help you balance out the emotion if you feel like it's in excess or you feel like you need a little more something in you. Mostly for excess, I would say, to help you kind of release what's out of you and rebalance stuff. So I hope this was helpful. I think it's important to kind of observe around us, not only yourself, but the people around you, how they speak to you, and get a better understanding. And you could be like, almost like a little detective, like, that guy's wood is way out of balance, I like to do that with people, but even though they wouldn't know what the hell I was talking about if I told them. But in your head, you're like, yeah, you need to, let air out of that tire. You need to shh yourself, So anyway, I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. If you have any other ideas about any other videos you'd like to see me do for you, I would be happy to hear. And subscribe if you haven't done so. I put out new videos every single week on Chinese medicine, self-empowerment, self-help, all kinds of good stuff for you. On that note, I will see you on the next one. Peace.